Good morning, everyone, for the second European Green Infrastructure Day. I'm the president of the World Green Infrastructure Network, and it's my pleasure to make the few introduction words at this place. Our network is an association which tries to connect on the global scale, associations, research experts, and industry players. We are working on conferences, papers, books, and green infrastructure communication since about 2007. And at the moment, this last year, the newest development is we installed a young chapter. That means PhD students around the world to join the Green Infrastructure Network. And as well, at the moment, an international award system is upcoming for the next conference live in Berlin. We will present the first ones. The EU chapter is, since a few years, as the group to raise awareness and promote uptakes of green infrastructure on the level of Europe. And we are very hoping and looking forward that similar things for Latin America and Asia will come as soon as possible. Yeah, World Green Infrastructure Network is a learning network about business solutions. The reason is why most people live in urban agglomeration. They spend a long time a day in buildings, and the quality in the building surroundings is to be enhanced, very important for the healthy situation. And the new discussion about energy saving and reducing the urban heat island effect, some contribution are connected with vegetation. Within green cities, green solutions are effective and close to the citizens. There are some things that we can provide effects about mitigation of climate and adaptation. The second important point is the urban water question, blue-green infrastructure, and the importance of evaporating cooling. And the more vegetation spots in cities means more biodiversity, and construction via buildings is a type of stepping stones around the cities. And a new trend around the globe, also the question about urban vertical food production. This can be important for the next years for local fresh products. Finally, healthy biophilic design, including solar power generations, are points about our special interest, and we want to share this information. Green environment makes people happier and more productive is one of these points. And global level is important, local level of European is important, and define it down to cities and solution to the square meter scale in each city. This is a nice point. We are working in this field. It is time to connect initiatives around the globe and for the local and the global perspective. And the question of all ages, that means the young chapter, the students, the practitioners should be involved. And on the European level, the renovation wave, how to build in future, also the eco-cities for post-war construction for Ukraine could be one important point for hopefully the near future. On the level of cities, we have single solutions on buildings, fantastic examples also by our corporate members done in the last years. And we are looking for more solution for full neighborhoods or full cities. And there are a lot of things ongoing on the level of the EU, and as well to say the green cities movement somewhere. For the next year, it's a pleasure to say, again, we will get a live Congress at 23. It was postponed 2 times, but now the dates are fixed for in the time of June 27 to 29, again in Berlin. And hopefully it will be as big a number of participants on the picture here on the ground. This was one of our biggest conferences we had sometimes in China. And yes, we are happy to see you there in the next year. Have a great day today and interesting preparation and presentation. And it's my pleasure to hand over to Luigi Petito. He is the Master of Ceremony today and the head of the chapter of our EU working group. Yeah, Luigi, please let us give some information and see what is happening today.
And some of the speakers before giving the floor to the keynote for this introductory session. First of all, let me say I'm very, very happy and proud for the organization of this day. We look forward to organize 4 sessions, to follow 4 sessions over the day, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. In the morning, we will cover the role of green infrastructure in relation to the changes, to the policy and regulatory framework changes in the context of the buildings. So in relation to in particular in relation to the work ongoing around the European Performance of Building Directive. Second session in the morning, we're looking at green infrastructure in relation to their capacity to increase resilience to extreme weather events. So in particular, with a particular focus on stormwater management. And then in the afternoon, we will look at green infrastructure in relation to and their capacity to increase biodiversity. And this framed around the forthcoming publication of the nature restoration law from the European Commission, but also in the framework of the recent EU 2030 biodiversity strategy. And finally, with the last session of the day, we will look at the multiple benefits of green infrastructure for people. So we will, let's say, within the discussion ongoing around the new Bauhaus movement, we will discuss about benefits of green infrastructure and vegetation for mental health, but not only, also inclusiveness and overall also the positive impacts that these solutions can have for the aesthetic also of our cities. All in all, we have an amazing and outstanding panel of speakers. I've counted 24, so we will have during the day some members of European Parliament, European Commission officers coming in representing DG Environment, DG Klima, but also the Bureau of Advisor of the President von der Leyen. We will have someone representing that office at the very in the 4th session of the day. We have a very, very important group of industry leaders that will present technologies, case studies, and here I have to also thank these organizations, Semper Green, Knauf Insulation, Optigrun, Bauder, Sika, for the support that they've provided also from a financial point of view to allow us to organize this the 2nd editions of this day. And then we have a panel of several experts, architects, urban landscaper, landscape designer, agronomist, researchers, just to mention a few, Laura Gatti, Jennifer Busselot, Stefan Brennesein from Basel. So he will tell us about the case, the case of Basel, and with the city, you know, that has been able to reach the highest rate of meter square of green per person in the world. So very, very interesting in listening his speech. And then the mayor of Grenoble, some representative from cities, Patrick Prinsen from the city of Mechelen, and some other researcher, Anna Zachrisson, very, very talented researcher and excellent, wonderful communication, will tell us about the monitoring and how to measure the benefits of green infrastructure. Well, I think I would like to stop here. Again, I really look forward to this fantastic day, and I pass the floor to Emanuele Quaranta, a colleague from JRC. Emanuele, the floor is yours. Tell us a little bit more about this, your study, your modeling, about the benefits of urban green on a European scale. Emanuele, the floor is yours. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Luigi, for the presentation. Thank you all the organizing committee, also all the public to be here. Okay, I will share my screen here. Okay, can you see? Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, I am Emanuele Quaranta. I work at the Joint Research Center of the European Commission. I work mainly in two topics related to especially water, in particular urban greening and nature-based solution and hydropower. Today, I will speak about some results of so what is urban greening? In general, urban greening means to cover any impervious surface, vertical or horizontal, with a layer of soil and vegetation. Within urban greening, we have in particular green roof. And in the reminder of this presentation, by the word green roof, I mean not only covering with soil and vegetation a building roof, but any impervious surface. For example, also a road, a parking lot. Green roof have different benefits thanks to their different behavior. First of all, green roof have a hydrological behavior because they interact with the precipitation. Part of water is retained inside the soil, then there is evapotranspiration, runoff. So they have this water balance behavior, hydrological behavior. Then green roof have also an energy behavior because they interact with the solar radiation and generate also evapotranspiration, which is another earth flux. And then they have also a biodiversity, biomass behavior because they allow vegetation to grow. They have different benefits. First of all, we can think to the reduction of the temperature of the air. This is very useful and important at the city scale because they allow to reduce the heat island effect. Then there is thermal isolation of the building, especially in summer. This allows to reduce the cooling. So also to reduce pollution and the energy requirement. Then blue water, so precipitation is transformed into green water, so water that remain inside the soil. This has important benefit because reduce the possibility of urban flooding. Biomass grows, so with benefit on, for example, biodiversity and carbon sequestration from the atmosphere. Then additional other benefit, like, for example, acoustic isolation of the building, social activity, for example, gardening, or the increase in the property value of building. So what we did in our studies. First of all, we quantified the benefit of urban greening at the European scale with focus on green roof, and then also investigate how much urban greening can mitigate combined sewer overflow. I will better show what are combined sewer overflow at the end of this presentation. So the first benefit that the first behavior that we quantify was the reduction of the surface temperature. So the difference between the temperature of the original impervious gray surface and then the new temperature of the related to the green roof. And we found the results. What means this map? For example, I was born in Turin. Let's see Turin here. Turin is yellow. Yellow means, let's say, 4. What does it mean this? That if in Turin we install a green roof over a gray roof, we reduce the temperature of the surface in summer of 4 degrees. Then we quantified again an additional temperature reduction, but not on the surface, but below the soil. So the difference, the reduction of temperature of the building roof. And again, here, let's see, for example, Turin, again, yellow. Yellow means more or less 20. This means that in summer, the average daily temperature of the gray roof is reduced by 20 degrees. And this is important because this means that we need less cooling to cool our building in summer. Then there is another important benefit of green roof, which is the reduction of runoff, because part of the precipitation is retained inside the soil. Again, we have this map. Again, let's see, for example, again, Turin, it is yellow, green. So more or less is 0.5, that means 50%. What does it mean this? That 50% of the precipitation at the annual scale is retained inside the soil and evapotranspirated. So the load to the sewer network, to the streets is reduced by 50%. Then additional benefit is the biomass growth. For example, we assume to grow a classical alfalfa vegetation. And again, we draw this map. Again, let's see, again, Turin, again, yellow, more or less 2. This means that for any square meter of roof, there are 2 kilos of biomass that can grow every year. So, okay, now we have derived this map, but it's possible to quantify this benefit in economic. Yes, now I will not explain to you all the calculation, all the method, but if you are interested, you can contact me. I will send you all the information and the related paper. We derive this table. In this table, we assume to cover 35% of the impervious surface in Europe by green roof, by vegetation. This is a very idealistic scenario. It's very difficult not to cover 35% of the European urban surface by green. But we did this exercise just to understand the maximum benefit, okay? The maximum target that we can have, a sort of maximum threshold. We quantify here the cost of installing this green, and we quantify some benefit. For example, the benefit from the energy saving in summer, the benefit from the heat island mitigation, the reduction of greenhouse gas emission thanks to the carbon sequestration of the greening. And if we sum this cost, we calculate that we can cover more or less half of the installation cost. But there are a lot of other benefits that is very difficult to quantify in monetary terms that may compensate this gap, and so overcome the cost. And in general, I will show in the next slide that the ratio of benefit to cost of green solution is 1 order of magnitude higher than classical gray solution. For example, we have also investigated in the context of the revising of the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive, the role of urban greening in the wastewater sector. Urban greening is very important, especially when we have combined sewer. What is a combined sewer? A combined sewer is a special drainage network. More or less half of the European cities have this combined sewer system, where the wastewater from industry, buildings, for example, the toilets, shower, water, and so on, flow within the same network of the precipitation. So when we have a very intense storm events, not all the water plus the wastewater can flow inside the network, and there is overflow. And since the system is combined, there is both precipitation, rainfall, and there is also wastewater, this overflow generates a lot of pollution. So we have to try to reduce it. And how we can do to reduce it? We have mainly 2 strategies. two prevention strategies. The first is the use of urban greening, because urban greening retains precipitation. So the flow to this combined sewer reduces. Or we can also use gray solution. Gray solution, what means? Practically means to increase the diameter of the pipe or to increase the volume of the tanks. We did some calculation. If we refer to our baseline scenario, which is the current situation, where more or less 6,000 or million cubic meter per year are spilled inside the environment of precipitation plus wastewater during these combined sewer overflows. If we implement gray solution, we can obviously reduce them. But if we implement green solution, as you can see, the reduction is more important. And when we implement green solution, the ratio benefit to cost is 1 order of magnitude higher than gray solution, because greening has not only benefit in this context, but has also a lot of other benefit in the reduction of the temperature, in the increase in biodiversity, that generate a lot of other benefits. So it can attract investment from different fields. Okay, so here I conclude my presentation. So here proposal model to estimate the benefit of green roof. So if you have a time series and you want to cooperate in this work, you can write me and we can discuss. Here there are some key references if you are interested in more details about my presentation, but you can write to me. I can send it to you all the answer that you want. So thank you. And so I here conclude my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Emanuele, for this presentation. You actually condensed a lot of information in a very short period of time. But thanks also for sharing your email and actually the next step of your research. So I invite the participants, but we will also help through the network, to the World Green Infrastructure Network, and the people, the national associations and the experts and the company that are are members of the platform to come back to you with some series, some data, so that you can validate these findings.